Secondary break. If you are new to the show, welcome. It's going to be an interesting show. Hopefully, this is not your first time tuning in because this is going to be a good one. And I mean that in a precautionary tale because Carolina clinches, wins the ACC outright. They take down Duke at Duke 84-79.
Let's go.
Let's go Heels. The game just ended. So you are getting a raw and uncut version of this show. If you're watching us for the first time, welcome, like, subscribe, all of those things. I've also been instructed, and again, I always say the powers that be, but it matters. So if you enjoy this show, please like, subscribe. I think the only thing that subscribing to this channel, which I'm starting to learn, I'm new to the whole YouTube thing, is that it just alerts you that we're talking about Carolina stuff. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy talking about what's going on here. And I'm also, two things, not going to talk a lot because I think I probably in this moment in time, after watching that game, I think it would be safer for this show that I don't speak a lot. And two, I want to express my gratitude. The first season that we've ever done this, and I got my brother here, Mr. Zach Talitsky. He's my two guard. He's my coach. He's my better half. Someone that agreed to do this as a favor to me because I love Carolina basketball so much, and he loves Carolina. He's like, you know what, man? I'll hang out with you. I'll talk Carolina basketball. Couldn't ask for a better way to wrap up the first time we've ever done this after missing the NCAA tournament, after getting one vote from the media to win the ACC, that we win it outright, going to our arch rival. And in my opinion, I'm biased, but I do not think I'm wrong. The most heated rivalry in all of sports, college, professional, amateur, whatever you want to call it, and getting it done on the road. I just feel like it's a special day. I've been saving my Christmas gift from my better half, my partner here, my Jordan jersey, for something like this. You can't see it here, but I got a student section Who's Your Daddy Battier t-shirt on underneath.
Pulling out all the stops.
Man, I feel fly today. And also a hat that I've been looking for 30 years. I feel fly today. Carolina takes down Duke to secure the ACC championship. And also I heard a weird stat. Don't quote me on this, but I think now we are 9-0 when it comes to traveling to Duke in the rivalry with the ACC regular season championship on the line. We're 9-0. Unbelievable. Unreal. Let's go. All right. Take us away, Zach. Give us the game recap and let us know how you're thinking about the ACC tournament. It was nice being here again. Before I get in trouble, like and subscribe. I said that last time we got one subscriber. So if you're feeling giving, give us a subscription so I don't get in more trouble. We love you guys.
Well, I mean, we have to start with Cormac, don't we? I mean,
we got to.
We got to. I mean, what a game. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy, for, a guy to transfer into this program, to have that type of game on the road against Duke, to clinch the regular season outright, stepped up at a huge time. I mean, these are the types of performances that I know we've been looking for and hoping for, but 6 of 8 from 3, 9 of 10 from the line, 8 of 12 overall, 31 points. Just played incredibly well.
It's got to be his best game in college ever.
I would think so.
And for him to transfer within conferences, and then one of the most, like I said, we just mentioned, Carolina's only played Duke 8 times in the history of the rivalry at Duke to clinch the ACC title. And I would put that performance against any performance. I don't know the other 8 wins that we had, but I would bet heavy money that is the greatest Carolina performance by a player in clinching the ACC regular season at Duke that's ever existed. And that's the reason he came here, to be great. Like, it's amazing. Somebody on this podcast has been preaching, if Cormac Ryan plays the way that he's capable of playing, and not 8 of 12 good, but maybe 6 of 12 good, and we're hard to beat.
Yeah, I think tonight we showed what our ceiling can be, and that ceiling is championship good.
Agreed.
And I think all year, Cormac and Ingram in some ways have been our barometer. The games that we've lost, it's when neither of them played well. Thankfully, it hasn't happened often. Tonight they both played incredibly well, and
incredible.
Yeah, in fact, you can't really find anybody who didn't play well. I mean, this was an incredible team effort, all the way down to Seth. I think attacking and getting 6 and 4 boards, and Jalen Withers only played 6 minutes. He had 8 boards in 6 minutes, and those 2 tip-ins were huge. Are you kidding me? 8 boards in 6 minutes.
Well, he played 11. He played 11 minutes. He had 6
Oh,
points.
sorry. Yeah.
Same thing,
but
though.
Still,
same thing.
Still.
Same thing. Same thing.
So just across the board, and the fact that we got 18 combined, from RJ and Mondo. Now, I don't think they played poorly. I'm not pointing fingers at them at all. But the rest of the team stepped up around them and played so well. Shows you what our ceiling can be, and it's going to be tough to wipe this smile off my face just because of how well we played from all 40 minutes. I mean, from the opening tip, controlled the game. And I know that they came out, and you knew they would at halftime, and made a run. And then we answered right back with a 7-0 run to get a working margin, and basically maintained it, for the entire game. I mean, this is now 80 minutes of basketball against them, where we've had, a pretty solid working margin of, close to 10 points for almost all of those 80 minutes. And I know, there's sort of right at the end, they hit some threes, and they kept battling, to their credit. But
of course, they're a good team.
They're a good team. I mean, I think we talked about this last time. Since February, they've been probably a top 3 or 4 team in the country. They wanted this game, right? There's something on the line for them. It's a championship on the line for them.
It's senior night.
Senior night. It's rivalry. So be able to go in there in that environment with that on the line, and put together that quality of a performance up and down the roster. And Hubert's got these guys, locked in and fighting and getting every loose ball. Man, I mean, it's just, as a fan, you just have to be on cloud 9 I mean, it's just, I just feel so fortunate as a Tar Heel fan to get to sit there and witness that performance. So happy for the team, so happy for Hubert, so happy for me. Just awesome night.
I want to do one of 2 things here. I want to encourage anyone that loves Carolina, which I would imagine every single person that watches this show is a Carolina fan. Go check out my Instagram story. And if you're a Duke fan, I apologize. I've got some prominent Duke fans as friends, and I've already received some comments about my Instagram story. Yeah, I'm with you, man. We missed the tournament last year, and then going into this year, just having a team that you and I, and then I think all of Tar Heel Nation loves, was a blessing in itself. Like, it was just such an honor and a privilege to be able to cover the team and do this show and talk about Tar Heel takes. And so to go into Duke on their senior night and, have the ACC already clinched up, like, we're already winners. And I don't know the score. I know Pittsburgh, NC State is, if we had lost tonight, that would affect our seeding, because Wake Forest rolled against Clemson, and there was all these scenarios. We controlled our own destiny, and we took care of that. It is beyond amazing to be able to be a fan and watch that. I'm going to watch the game at least 2 or 3 times again tonight. Like, easy. I'm catching a plane later, so I don't mind staying up all night. I'm going to watch it. And I debated being in the right mind to do this show, but I was like, I know Zach will carry us. But I wanted to come on and just echo your sentiments of, in this moment in time, being able to watch that. And there's a lot of stuff going on. We all have lives going on. It was so enjoyable to be a Carolina fan and see those boys show up. Now, win or lose, I would love to have won, obviously, and we did, and that's great. But all my fears for the game were answered in the first 5 minutes. We showed up and we played well. So, we get out to an early lead. It was 10 or 12 early. And all I'm thinking of is, okay, they locked in. Like this is not too big of a moment for them. So whatever happens going down the road, I feel like we've showed the guts to win big games and not to be overwhelmed by the moment. And then we just maintained it. And it only increased my, not expectation, but just my comfort level of, okay, cool. We're going to be in some big games. We've been here before. Let's lean on an experience. Let's lean on that experience and just do what we know we can do. And then whatever happens, happens. But it was a wonderful thing to watch. And it's easy to say when you win, but man, what a great day. What a great day to be a Tar Heel.
Absolutely. And for Hubert and the team to get that focused, because, it's human nature. They clinched last game, shared the regular season. They could have, let go of the rope and said, hey, we don't actually have to go in there and fight with everything that we've got because, we've accomplished this great thing. But they weren't satisfied. I mean, they came out absolutely on fire, fighting every loose ball, every rebound, and just love to see that energy and effort, regardless of how the game, ended up. And, and let's be clear, Duke played very well.
Yeah.
And
Duke is very good.
And played very good. Well, right?
Elite Eight, Final Four, possibly championship level team, which is that I want to echo that. Like I'm not dismaying Duke at all. I'm only celebrating how good Carolina played tonight because Duke is that caliber of team.
I mean, that took an A+ performance, right? I mean, Duke shot nearly 40% from three, only turned the ball over 7 times. For the most part, I mean, they outscored us at the foul line, which is like fairly rare. Since we won, we don't have to get into the officiating. But
there was some calls, though. There were some calls, though.
I mean, when you go into to Cameron, you've got to win by 10, right? Because you're not going to get any breaks.
There was a few tonight that I just I lost
but
my
anyway,
mind.
So and again, we overcame that, and I think for the most part kept our poise, through all that. Answered their run coming out of the second half. I mean, just about everything that you could look for a team to do mentally and showing mental toughness. And, anybody who wants to say that we're not a mentally tough team or program, which sometimes we get labeled with, you go watch that game. There aren't many people, many teams are going to walk into Cameron with that on the line, senior night, and perform like that. And so that's just, I mean, that mental toughness, just incredible.
Yeah, amazing. All right, what stood out most to you tonight, do you think was the difference maker? Because there's one thing that when I saw in the game, immediately in my mind, I'm biased, but I was like, we're going to win this game. And it happened in the first half, and it happened twice. And I was like, we're going to win. We're going to win. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I feel like we're going to win tonight.
I thought everybody played with confidence, and I thought everybody was looking to attack, and I thought we were the aggressor, and that showed up a number of different ways. I thought Cormac, obviously he shot well, but also like he was looking to release it. It wasn't like he was catching and making sure he was wide open. I mean, he was.
Oh no, yeah, no.
He was coming off. Yeah, he was hunting, right?
He was hunting, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. And every single time that Ingram got a small guard switched on him, I mean, he was hunting. He was backing people down. I mean, he was looking for his matchups and going at it. And Mondo, same thing. Like whenever Filipowski wasn't on him, when they put Sean Stewart on him for a few possessions, I mean, I think scored every time. I mean, he was attacking Ryan Young. I just felt like, and even Seth, several times, drove hard and made some for him, relatively tough pull-ups there, like in the lane. It just that to me was just, that's what I want to see. I want to see, this team is showing that type of confidence up and down the roster where everybody knows their role, everybody knows their shot, and they're looking to attack. That told me we were ready to play.
Yeah. Two things. So the first thing that comes to mind when I was watching the game is we were first to the floor.
Yeah.
Several loose balls. Guys were diving. And when I was growing up, I grew up in Raleigh. So I grew up in the triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. And you always saw Duke was notorious for taking charges and diving on the floor burns, all of that. That was the whole premise behind the 90s. This is how we beat you. I thought tonight Carolina walked in there, Elliot Cadeau, RJ Davis, everybody, Cormac Ryan, diving on balls when Duke was bending over to pick them up. It was like, oh, we want it more. That was the first thing. The second thing, it was like, I don't know, probably halfway, 75%, 60% way through the game. And I realized RJ isn't going to crack double figures. Baycott's not going to crack double figures. And the rest of the team is showing up. Now, there's two folds in that. And I don't want to – I'm not pointing fingers at other players that are not on our program anymore. But in previous years, I've always been worried about certain players wanting to get their average or wanting it to be their night to put their fingerprint on that game. And I think it tells or says a lot about the leadership of Armando Baycott and RJ Davis in not forcing the issue when other players are picking up the slack in areas that benefit the team where they don't have to. Now, there's times where other players are not performing and you have to kind of step outside of yourself, maybe step outside of the game plan and impose your will. But we win tonight. We go into Durham, and the only thing that matters is win or loss. And I felt like RJ Davis and Armando Baycott, honestly, their impact was felt in that they didn't force things when they weren't there. And the rest of the team stepped up and took care of and handled and stood on business.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd have told me that combined, they're going to shoot 8 of 23, we're going to turn the ball over 6 times more than they do. They're going to outscore us from the free throw line, and they're going to shoot 39% from 3.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not winning that game.
Yeah. That's a double digit. That's a double digit loss.
Right. And so we found a way to win, despite those things. And again, that just shows, I think, this team does have multiple ways to beat you. And, and look, I know they scored 79 points, but that was a great defensive effort. I mean, that is, that's a top 10, offensive efficiency team. I think in the last, couple of months, it's a top 5 offensive efficiency team. And so, I would say despite the 79, that's a championship defense that we saw out there. And we made them work for it. And, they got a few more open looks for 3. I don't even know if they had a 3-point attempt in the first 10 minutes of the game. I mean, particularly at the beginning, we were just locked in and forcing them to take tough twos, which I think has been a key to beating them in both games. You've got to force them off the 3-point line and force them to take twos.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't think it can go understated what it takes as far as mental preparation to walk into that environment on senior night with the ACC regular season title on the line and execute in a way that, one, that you have a chance to win. But I felt like for the most part, we I don't want to say dominated because I don't want to pour water on Duke as a team because they're an amazing team. But we controlled the game plan or the game flow for most of the game. And I think it takes a lot more than people understand or that know or comprehend from a 7 and 9. Like, oh, well, they're equally good. It's different when it's Carolina Duke, and it's different when you're playing away from home.
I don't think they led, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
they got it within 1 in the second half, and then we had that spurt, but I don't think they ever led. It's hard to do.
Impressive. Like just an all around impressive. I mean, I thought you can't measure this, but I thought the win at Duke for Coach K's last game was impressive just because everything surrounded it. But I think kind of like, if we're being honest, I think Duke was behind the 8 ball in that. If you're a player on that team, all the greats, Jay Williams is there. And, I don't know exactly who was there. I'm drawing a blank, but like, just the names, Christian Laettner, Shane Battier, and like all these players are there to celebrate Coach K. And like the moment is there's a lot of pressure on them. So I think Carolina benefited from that. It could go two ways of like, oh, we're motivated, we're going to win this for Coach K. I don't think you need any added motivation for the Carolina Duke game. So tonight was almost equally as or more impressive. It wasn't as enjoyable. Nothing's going to beat the enjoyment that I felt that night because no one was picking us. But tonight was just incredibly cool to be a Carolina fan and watch that. And, I'm just so proud of the team. I'm so proud of, even like, people are like, oh, well, RJ didn't have a great game. I'm so proud of RJ. I feel like some of the things that he didn't do spoke more of the player that he is than didn't. Like, oh, he sacrificed. He didn't force. He didn't chuck up 31 shots to get his 17 points. You know what I mean? Like he didn't do that. He allowed other players to shine in their moment. And kudos to Cormac Ryan because I've been on him hard. And I've gotten messages, and it's totally cool. But I've always preached that if he makes shots that I know he's capable of making, he's made in his past, we're a hard team to beat. We can beat anyone in the country when he shoots the way that I feel like he's proven to be a shooter as.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hopefully this confidence carries over, right? This putting this type of performance up has got to, it's got to really help him. And so, if he continues to hunt shots, and of course, it's going to continue to open things up for RJ and Mondo. I mean, people are going to watch this tape and, he's going to get a lot of attention. So it's going to continue to make things easier for others, which is, obviously huge too. So come in at the right time. We talked about this team before this week was gutting out wins, but it didn't feel like they were necessarily playing their best basketball and peaking, which was a concern, even though they were finding a way to win. Obviously, we showed up against Notre Dame and put up a great show on senior night, but you didn't really know, does this mean we're coming together and peaking, or is it just that Notre Dame is not ready to come in and compete in that type of environment yet? Yeah. But then tonight, to back it up, with the performance we had tonight, which is, I think, probably the best game we played all year. We played awfully well against Tennessee as well, and obviously the first Duke game. But this is up there.
As far as the road game goes, I don't think it's debatable.
Yeah. So
the Florida State game was impressive, but this was something different.
Yeah. So I think after we lost to Clemson, you said, how are we going to finish the ACC? I think I said 7-1.
I think you did.
And I think we did finish 7-1. I missed the game, though. I think I said that we would win all of them but lose tonight. But happy to be wrong about that. But glad to see the boys have my back and pulled it off.
Well, I appreciate you having the memory that you have. I appreciate that.
I only remember when I'm right. Yeah.
It's not as impressive because it was just a few days ago, but I also remember you saying we were going to lose tonight, and your boy said that we were going to win by 4. We won by 5.
Right. That's right. You did.
So I feel like we both get a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Amazing. Incredible. All right. So the ACC tournament, just a couple days away. This was not in jeopardy. Wasn't in question. We were going to get the double bye. We don't play till Thursday. as of right now, again, I can't do the math in real time. And if my family's watching, I apologize. But I enjoyed that game. So I'm not trying to do that math in real time. Pittsburgh beat NC State. So
okay.
Regardless of what would have happened tonight, we would have been the number 1 seed. Wake Forest beat Clemson. So I think Wake Forest is now officially, depending on, I'll just pull this up, depending on the winning percentages, 9, Pittsburgh had, nope. Looks like, I think Pittsburgh's going to be the 4 seed. So I think they get the double bye because Clemson lost. So they have 9 losses. Pittsburgh only has 8 losses. Yeah, so I think Pittsburgh gets the double bye. So it's us, Virginia, Duke are all sitting and watching. And then, the matchups for Tuesday, Wednesday will play themselves out. And then not that the tournament starts because the tournament starts on Tuesday, but for us, the tournament will start on Thursday to see how that shakes out.
So, yeah, and is it set now? I guess are all the games final and the tournament seedings are set? I haven't seen it come out yet. So I don't know.
All the games are over.
Okay.
The only thing that's still going on is the Virginia Georgia Tech game. There's about a minute left, and Virginia's up by 16. So that game's over. So all the games are over.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of happy with how it's playing out tonight that Virginia and Wake won, because I feel like that puts us in a position as a conference to hopefully get 5 in.
Yeah.
Wake was on the outside, I think, as of this morning. I don't know if this will do enough to get them in, but that's a nice win against Clemson. Obviously, both Virginia and Wake would like to get 1 win in the ACC tournament just to help
solidify it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, solidify it a little bit more. But be great if we got at least 5 teams. And so this double bye thing, I'm not used to it. I'm still old school ACC tournament. So the fact like the tournament starts on Tuesday and then we don't play, for a couple of days is weird.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah,
man, what a night! What a night! If you had to give, this is the last question I'll ask you, then I'll let you go, and we're going to celebrate. If you had to give a player of the game outside of Cormac Ryan, because I think he's clear cut, like far and away the head of the list there, for a player of the game, who would you give it to?
I give it to Harrison. I mean, if you'd have told me when he first transferred to Carolina that he was going to lead the ACC in rebounding, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. There's no way. I mean, so the fact that he did that, and it feels like just about every game is a double-double, and every game he's putting up 10, 15 rebounds. And
he's a hard defender. Like he's so strong.
Switchable, strong. His aggressiveness, his willingness to do everything the team needs him to do, the joy and the passion and the energy and positivity he plays with. Just absolutely love his game. And I thought he was awesome again. So both games against Duke, he's just been tremendous. And, Mark Mitchell, he's really come on for Duke. And
he has,
if you look at his
did not go well tonight.
Well, in both games, total non-factor in both games, and you have to hand that to Ingram. I mean, he dominates a lot of people with his strength and athleticism and energy, but so far he has not been able to handle Harrison at all. And so I think the fact that he did it on both ends, I'd give it to him.
Yeah,
but you could give it to anybody because everybody played well. Yeah,
you could. One of the things that I was shocked by, and we'll cut it here, is that Stewart didn't play more of a role in tonight's game because he was a non-factor in the first game. So I thought, like, oh, there's not a ton of tape, and like we'll see more of him. He's really come on in the last few games, and it wasn't. I mean, I think he played 7 minutes and no points, 1 rebound, like. It didn't play out that way. So that was a variable we didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I watched their game against NC State, and he was a major factor.
He was a major factor, and that was on the road. Like he's at home now. So I thought at home, more of a comfort level, less of a risk. Like, hey, let's get this guy in there.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he didn't score, and honestly, it was a bit of a defensive liability. He couldn't handle Baycott, and then Mitchell only had 3 and 4 rebounds. We kind of forced their main guys to carry them, and then they just they didn't get a bunch of contributions from others where we did, and that obviously was huge. I think you said on the last show it's going to be key to keep them off of the offensive boards. I don't know how many they had. But we did out rebound them by 11, which is probably about on our average. And so winning that battle was huge.
Massive.
I mean, because when they get those offensive rebounds and then they spray them out to the shooters, I mean, it's death. It's just absolutely death. And we controlled that pretty well.
Yeah, amazing, man. All right, well, go Heels. We got it done. You and I will kind of confer and talk about how we're going to handle the ACC tournament. But for now, anyone that's watching this, 2 things: like and subscribe. Not even joking. And 2, enjoy tonight. Like, just what an amazing thing to walk into Cameron, get that done, win the ACC outright after the year/couple years that we've had. It's amazing to see what Hubert is building at North Carolina. Very, 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 very cool. Especially after, no offense, but there was some recruiting news out of Duke this week. They're like, oh, it's the greatest recruiting class that's ever been made since, the Fab Five. And it's just like, oh, cool. Duke is getting all these stacked classes. Just to know the product that is on the floor, that Carolina is as strong a program as there is in the country, is a beautiful thing.
It is. And we're ACC champions, first time since outright since 2017. It's a wonderful night. Everyone enjoy it.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.